Educational Insights, a Slate Valley Unified podcast. Hosted by Superintendent Brooke Olsen-Farrell. Episode number 17, Slate Valley Board Chair.
Hi everyone, we're back with our first episode of Educational Insights in Slate Valley, our first episode of the 25-26 school year. And I'm your host, Brooke Olsen-Farrell, Superintendent of Slate Valley, and we're here today with Julie Finnegan, our Slate Valley School Board Chair. So Julie, can you tell us a little bit about your journey to being on the school board and, how long you've been on it?
So actually, I started on the school board in 2010. That was when we were a supervisory union, and I was on the Castleton School Board specifically. And then I maintained being on the school board all the way through all the different ups and downs through the state, reorganization, Act 46, Challenge for Change, everything you can think of between then and now. I continued on the school board and ultimately ended up on the new Slate Valley Unified Union School Board. And I got on the school board because I was looking to give back to my community, and my kids were finally all in school. And so I had what I felt like was maybe some extra time that I could spend and wanted to give back to the school that I grew up in and the area that I live in.
And I know being on the school board is a big commitment for anybody, regardless of the role on the school board. But the chairperson's role is a little more involved. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yep. So when you're the chairperson, you are the person who is in charge of the agenda, how the meetings run, and what information is on agendas and gets presented or talked about at a school board meeting. We have, and I'm going to go into a little bit of another question in here, but we have 3 responsibilities as school board members, and so that's what I continuously focus on when I'm thinking about being the board chair. So our 3 responsibilities are fiscal, setting the budget, policy, setting policy, and the superintendent. And so those are the 3 things that we should be concerned about at our school board meetings, and everything should revolve around. So as you listen to a school board meeting, participate in a school board meeting, know that those are the things that we are thinking about.
So what do you find most rewarding about serving your community?
Yeah, so people think that somebody's on the school board for a specific reason, or maybe an agenda of some sort, like maybe sports. I'm concerned about sports, I'll get on the school board. I'm concerned about curriculum, I'll get on the school board. I initially honestly got on the school board just because I wanted to give back to my community and felt like that was something that I could participate in and be a part of and be knowledgeable about. Since then, it's kind of morphed. I run the Upward Bound program at Vermont State University, and I work with low-income first-gen high school students in the county. And I'm not going to lie, my focus shifted a little bit to be concerned about college and career readiness with students, which goes right back to fiscal responsibility, policy, and superintendent. So I felt like I could continue with the idea that I was supporting how students leave our district in being ready for being young adults. And so that's why I continue on the school board.
And I know there's a lot going on at the federal level, the state level with education, and certainly, we've had our challenges and successes at the local. So what are the school board's top priorities?
So, our top priorities this year. I can tell you what I think we're all concerned about. I don't know if it's a priority, but I think we're all concerned about what's happening at the state level. And I think it's hard to, we need to remain focused on what we can do here and now. Like our budget is upcoming, right? So right now our main focus is our budget. We all know in the back of our mind, there's this school consolidation thinking going on and happening at the state level. So staying informed about that, understanding the difference between supervisory union and school district, understanding the effects it could have in previous, successive budgets after that in timelines. So I think right now, if you asked us right now, our priority is our budget. Setting a budget that is reasonable, meets the needs of our students, is value as much as we can make it be for the taxpayer in our 6 different towns, and to stay on top of what's going on at the state level. The federal level is hard for us to have any control over. The best we can do is communicate with our state representatives at the federal level. But we can control what we do here at Slate Valley on a daily basis with students in our classrooms. And that's, I think, what we ask our superintendent to focus on and bring us a budget that focuses on.
So you mentioned school consolidation, which is part of Act 73.
Mhm.
Can you share, a little bit about what Act 73 is and, the impact it may have on our school district?
Yep. And I'm definitely going to potentially defer to Superintendent Olsen because I might not get all the ins and outs. But what I understand Act 73 is about is it's the state's attempt to consolidate our schools into more efficient, effective school districts, in my opinion, supervisory union school districts, but to work on numbers and pulling together like-minded, and hopefully, in my opinion, groups of schools to become bigger school districts, in hopes that we gain efficiencies, but continue to maintain student outcomes and curriculum and everything that happens within a day-to-day in a school district. I think what's going on right now is that Act 73, I think it's December 1st is the deadline that the task force needs to have suggestions to the legislature about how they would like that to look. And then the legislature needs to act. So after the legislature acts, that's when a lot of other dominoes fall into a place. Maybe it's things about school funding, maybe how it's organized and how it's set up. But for right now, I think the anticipation is the December 1st deadline of the task force to put forward some options for redistricting or consolidation of school districts. I don't know. I mean, it's going to affect our budget, but we won't know that until the December 1st deadline passes and the legislature takes action.
So what is the best way for parents and community members to stay informed about what's happening on the school board or within Slate Valley, for that matter?
I think the hardest thing is wanting to stay informed, right? As we all know, when we care about something, we search out information. And I think that's natural. That's human instinct, right? Oh, I'm really concerned about that. I'm going to find out about it. We offer here at Slate Valley different ways for parents and community members to stay informed. It is mostly digital, and I know that can be a challenge for some people, but I hope that others will support maybe the people in our area who are not as informed because they don't access digital as easily. But we do have a listserv where you can get information weekly. We do have, obviously, this podcast or vodcast is one way to stay informed. I also think that reading school board minutes and committee meeting minutes is a chance to stay informed. They're almost all of our committee meetings and school board meetings are Google Meets. So even if you might not want to read something online, you can attend and listen. You could eat dinner and listen. We'd never know. Keep your camera off, right? So there's ways to do it and to be a part of it. I also think asking questions, emailing and asking questions if you are unsure, unaware, think maybe you have a fact that you heard in the community that you not aware of. Oh, speaking of community, there's also the community advisory group, which is a great opportunity for people who maybe don't want to come to a school board meeting, don't want to get but want to hear what's going on the street in different towns and ask some questions. That's another good way for people too. And that's a physical meeting that happens once a month here at the school district. So that's another way.
And it's open to anybody.
Yeah. And I mean, we do try print, but as we all know, some of our local newspapers are going online, right? And so the Rutland Herald's probably our last, and Addison Independent would be our last two kind of print ones in the area. And we do try to put things in there, but it does cost money. So we try to be judicious about how we do that.
So talking about community and how does the board really take into account community feedback?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Again, I'm not going to lie, this is a challenging topic. School board meetings have public comment 2 times, once at the beginning of a meeting and once at the end. But a school board meeting is technically a meeting of the board, not a meeting of the community. And I know that that can be challenging for some people who think that that would be an opportunity. So community-wise, again, I think it comes down to asking questions, sending emails, asking for a meeting face-to-face. If it's something that you're really concerned about and don't have an answer to, have not found an answer to, after you've maybe spoken with a teacher or a principal and you're still feeling like, oh, I just am not being heard, that would be a way to do it. Or if you have really big concerns about our budget, how we're doing it, you've maybe not attended a finance meeting, but you have some questions about it. Again, reaching out and communicating is the best way. Yes, our board meetings have public comment and we always like to hear them, but they are restricted and the meeting is a meeting of the board. And so it might not be the most easy place to be able to maybe get an answer to something or to get your concern heard. So I really, really recommend reaching out as much as possible.
So, on the topic of community communication and feedback, take it a little further. What are some avenues that we've tried in the past? Maybe some other things that we're going to try again this year, but we might be receiving really low participation in?
Yep. So one thing that is hard about being on a school board is that you are a community member. You're an elected community member, right? And we are a group of elected community members who have all different kinds of jobs, all different kinds of responsibilities, and choose to be on a school board. So for us to be able to gather information, we've tried some different things. And we do have here at Slate Valley the opportunity to have somebody who can support us in that. And we have tried before and would be more than happy to reintroduce our suggestion boxes around town where people can actually put written suggestions in for a way for people to communicate. We also are having coffee and conversations. We've had one at Castleton. I think there's an upcoming one tomorrow at Orwell. And then there's a couple in the next couple weeks. So keep your eyes out. I know those are during the day and that they can be hard. But if you're somebody who has a flexible schedule or somebody who, has young kids who wants to come, we love to see the young kids. There's always some treats. So that's always fun too, to come and get some coffee and you just kind of ask us the questions that are burning in your mind or things you want clarification on. That would be great. And I think there was one more. Remind me, Brooke. There was coffee and conversations.
We typically will have virtual listening tours in the evening too, but over the years, those have been really low attendance rates. And then we will also have meetings with our legislators as we're able to schedule those, which we're trying to schedule one right now for the fall.
Yeah, and I have to say that's been really great. One thing that's come out of our community group that meets monthly is meetings with our legislatures, and then it's really picked up because of Act 73, and they've been very responsive, and they actually do come. So if you do want a chance to, we're Vermont. We have the luxury of really, truly having a people's legislature if we want to access that. And they've been really good about coming and meeting with us and talking with us. And so keep your eyes open for something coming in October, hopefully, where we'll again meet with our local legislatures to get some feedback about what's going on with education up at the State House. So
looking ahead, what's your hope for Slate Valley's future?
Yeah. So I can't help but think about Act 73, whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. But I know that we will come out of Act 73 or whatever we do for consolidation or wherever we move forward on top. Things are very much looking up for Slate Valley. We are doing a great job at working on getting our student outcomes up. And we're doing a really great job at giving high school students opportunities to be who they want to be after high school, whether it's with our work-based learning, whether it's with college and career. And I really think that if we just really keep our eye on the prize, like who do we want leaving our district and what do we want them to know and what do we want them to be able to look back at their education and say, we're on a really great trajectory. I'm really proud that we do this work on the budget that we do it on. And you might not think, oh yeah, I understand. It's a lot. The state of Vermont is not an efficient school system. We do not do it very well, but we do here. And we do it to the best of our ability. And that's something I am proud of. Am I proud to be fifth from the bottom? No, but I'm proud that we have the outcomes we have the focus we have, and what we do here at Slate Valley. We've come a long way, and I think we're just going to continue on that trajectory the best we can with what we have. And so hopefully we'll be able to consolidate, and Fairhaven Union High School will grow, and we'll grow who we can affect and how we can work with students, and we'll grow our opportunities through this consolidation. But if not, I know that we'll still continue to focus on what we need to for the best of the kids in our district.
So I want to piggyback on something you said about being fifth from the bottom. And that's really what you were talking about, is the amount of money we spend on education. 87% of districts in Vermont spend more money on education than we do, but yet we have some of the highest outcomes in southwestern Vermont. So why do you think that is?
So thank you for the clarification, and it changes every year, I swear. But anyway, so when I'm talking about being in the bottom part of the spending in the state of Vermont, we're talking about our education spending. So we're talking about the ultimate amount of money that we spend per student in our district. Yet we do have high outcomes in comparison to others in southern Vermont. And that's where I think the
return on investment.
Well, exactly. Right? I think that's a little bit of a pride for us that we work on giving taxpayers an effective and an efficient school district, that we still have the outcomes, we're still working with students, we're meeting their needs, yet we're able to do that at a price that really does the best that we can for our taxpayers. So yes, I hear you on that. That makes sense. Yep.
Well, Julie, thanks for sharing your insights with us today. Yeah. Appreciate you being here.
No problem.
And until next time, Slate Valley.
Slate Valley Unified Union School District, September 25th, 2025.